I'm sitting at the kitchen table, finishing breakfast, frantically trying to get a few sips of coffee in before somebody needs something from me, when suddenly my daughter turns to me out of the blue and asks, "Mama, what do you want for your birthday?" I sat there looking at her over my coffee for a solid 30 seconds. And then I said, "That's a good question," which is what you say when you don't have an answer. Most of the birthdays in my family are in the summer, and mine kicks off the whole series of events. So by that morning, I'd already been thinking about birthdays for weeks, just not mine. I hadn't considered what I wanted, not even a little bit. I'd been too busy considering what everyone else wanted. But I wasn't busy right then. I was sitting still with my coffee and my daughter looking at me, waiting for an answer, and I didn't have one. And it's not that I don't have wants. When something really matters, I know what I want and I say it. And when it comes to the daily stuff, what we're eating for dinner, what's on the radio, honestly, I would rather not be the one to decide. But my birthday isn't dinner. My birthday comes around once a year, and I hadn't given it one thought. I'm fine with letting go of dinner, but it turns out I also let my birthday go. So I went looking for what actually happened at that table, and decision science says something I didn't expect. Nobody keeps their preferences on a shelf. You don't go get an answer. You build one in the moment somebody asks out of whatever you've been thinking about. And I'd been thinking about everyone else's birthdays for a month. Asked me what my son wanted, and I had 3 answers and a backup. Asked me what my daughter wanted, and I could tell you which color and what size and who already bought it. Their answers came fast because I'd been considering their birthdays for weeks. My own had not crossed my mind. So it isn't that I have no wants, it's that I've had no practice wanting. From the inside, going blank like that doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like graciousness, like keeping everything moving. But not minding and not saying look exactly the same from the outside. Here's how I tell them apart. My husband asks where we should eat. I say, "You all pick." And they pick. And I'm grateful because I didn't want to be the one choosing anyway. That's not minding. That's real. Not saying is when he asks, I tell him, "You all pick." They choose. And I wanted the other place the whole time. Same words out of my mouth, but this time what I said and what I wanted didn't match. And there's research on what it costs you when what you say and what you want stop matching. I assumed the cost was in the giving, that if putting my family first was wearing me down, then the answer was to give my family less. That is not what the research says. Giving isn't the part that wears people down. Saying one thing while wanting another is. So I don't have to take care of my family less. I have to stop losing track of what I want. Which brings me back to my kitchen table, because that morning, what I said and what I wanted did match. She asked me what I wanted, and I said, "That's a good question." And I meant it. I didn't know. Nothing to hide, nothing to swallow. There just wasn't anything there at all. And that's what got me. I'd spent years being careful about how I answered everyone, and I never once checked whether I still knew what I wanted. You may be in the same situation, but for us out here, school just started. So for the first time since May, there's an hour in my day nobody has claimed. And here's what I'm doing with it. And you can try it with me. I'm taking a minute, 1 minute a day, to ask myself one question. What would I want right now if somebody asked me? It could be a nap. A nap is always a good answer. But the answer isn't going to be sitting there waiting when we need it. I have to build it before somebody asks. And then the next time my daughter looks at me over her eggs and wants to know what I want for my birthday, I'll have something to tell her. I ask my family to share themselves with me all the time. This is me handing a piece of myself back. So tell me one in the comments, one thing that you want, not a goal, not something you should want, something you'd actually like today. I'll see you soon.